Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
Luka Nation, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my. Man, I wish you guys could get a little privy to some of the background stories I hear from Cage here. Do you want to let him know? Tell him.
It's fine, man. He likes to laugh at me, and sometimes I do stupid shit. So, it's not that hard to laugh at me, I guess. So
I only laugh with you, Cage. I only laugh with you, brother.
Sure you do. So, maybe 2 weeks ago, I bought my son a I think the store is Five Below. I bought him one of these helicopters. It's like a drone, but like a drone for $5. So like not really a drone. Like a remote control car, but it flies. And the helicopter takes off and it flies up. And he flies this thing like 30, 40 feet in the air. And like the third or fourth time he launches it, it gets stuck in my neighbor's tree. But not like 10 feet up where I can, grab it. Like 50 feet on the top of the tree. Like he was trying to fly it over the tree. And I guess it kind of like dropped down and got stuck in the tree. And I being dad extraordinaire, don't worry, I get this thing out of the tree. I know it's 40 feet up in the tree. I'm not climbing the tree. Yeah. But it's 40.
Did you think about it for a second?
I did. I thought about climbing a tree. And I know I could get about halfway up, but it's one of those trees like where this thing is stuck, like the branches are pretty thin. I'm not exactly a small individual here. I don't think the squirrels are going out near where this thing was, but let alone me, it would be pretty funny. But so I got football in the garage. It's like half inflated. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do my my Joe Namath, Joe Montana impression here, and I'm gonna throw a football up. I'm gonna hit the helicopter with my first throw. Don't worry about it. Watch this. I'm like, I'm Phillip Rivers. I'm gonna throw it into the window, and. Did it work? No. First throw, I missed the helicopter by about 3-4 yards. I was actually more accurate than I thought.
That's not a bad first throw.
More accurate than I thought. The next one, it missed by about a foot, but then it did a plinko. You ever watch Price is Right and get plinko? Mm-hmm. Comment below, guys, if you know what plinko is, right? So the football now does a plinko kind of thing down through the tree, and it gets stuck. The trunk of the tree has kind of like a little branch broken off, like one of the, and the ball is stuck kind of in the middle of the tree about 25 feet up. Yesterday, this is how we started this conversation. Andrew told me where he is right now, which is an undisclosed location where Carmen Andrew Ego is. We never know where in the world he is. But
what's so funny? Everyone who DMs me and asks, I invite them all. I'm like, come through. Come for Thanksgiving, come for the holidays. It's worth it. So I let people know if you just DM me.
Yeah, he'll tell you where he is. It's different every day, and it is a undisclosed location, like a bunker. In case anything happens to me, Andrew has to take over. So we can't ever be in the same place at the same time. We're not allowed to fly on the same plane. It has to be.
That's a fun fact, Luka Nation. Cage and I have never been in the same place at the same time.
In the same physical location. This is very true. So, because we have to do it, man. The show must go on for Luka Nation. But to finish the story, Andrew told me how windy it was. I told him yesterday it was so windy up here in the Northeast, windy and rainy, that I happened to go outside at like 3:00 to, get my garbage cans from 4 houses away that blown down the street. And as I was walking back with him, I noticed the helicopter had been knocked free from its perch in the tree. Football, however, still up there. So
does the helicopter still work?
He did try it yesterday, but here's the best part. We had taken another trip to Five Below since, and I got him another one. So now he has two to get stuck in the tree. Maybe I can fly the helicopters up at just the right angle and knock the football out of the tree now.
Him and Leah need to have drone races.
Yeah, right. Instead, what they do is they turn them on in the house and they fly them into my nose. They aim them at me and they fly these helicopters at my head. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's the backstory. This is what I was telling Andrew before we started up. So listen, we're humans too, just like the rest of you. So what's top of mind for you today, sir?
I made a post yesterday. It was the sample sports card investment portfolio.
Yes.
Cage, did you see it?
I saw it. 25. I liked it.
Yeah, and obviously it's just a rough benchmark, and I thought we should talk about it today because it got a lot of comments. A lot of people DM'd and asked questions and, intricacies, nuances, because I mean, how much can you capture in a graphic like that? But I thought it was worthwhile to get your perspective, Cage, on how you think about it, right? So I put it into 4 categories, right? Vintage, which has like a proven track record. I did aggressive growth category, which I think of like a Michael Porter Jr., for example. I would put him into that bucket. Someone with high upside, but also, with any upside, there's usually risk.
Yep.
Then the growth segment, which I think of more proven assets, Luka, LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, for example, right? I mean, they still hold a level of risk, but their performance speaks for itself. And then cash flow, which is grading, right now, Prism Football came out, for example. So taking your chances on Tua and Burrow and Herbert and, maybe some wide receivers as well, buying raw cards and grading them and getting cash flow for that, which feeds the other kind of segments. So I thought we should discuss it. And I'd love to hear what you think. I posted it on our story and got 2 or 3 or 4 comments that I'm going to bring up here. So yeah, that's all that's top of mind. And then I wanted to make a play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love it. I love the chart, and I love that the fact that we put stuff out there, and Andrew's not telling you guys to go out there and make sure your portfolio has 25% of this, 25% of that, 25% of this. If you were to, a lot of what we talk about is treat these cards like any other asset group, like stocks or whatever it may be. You have a 401k with your company, or you invest in Bitcoin or whatever it may be, right? I know I can tell you that any advisor worth their salt is going to tell you that that asset allocation that Andrew gave you in that chart, it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's not a one size fits all. It depends on you. It depends on your risk profile, your risk appetite, what you like. And it may be, instead of 25, 25, 25, it may be, 30, 30, 30, and 10. Maybe you're not that risk. You don't want to take as many risks. Maybe you're risk adverse, and you only want to have 10% in what you'd consider, more risky, asset. You want to have, more safe stuff. Maybe you're 50-50, maybe you want to do 50%, modern, maybe you do 50%, the other way. I'll tell you, I like to do a 50-50 also. And then break down those 50%, obviously. But my 50, I like that 50 vintage / blue chip. 50% of the portfolio is going to be your Michael Jordans, your LeBrons, your Mickey Mantle, your vintage
stuff.
Can
you see my screen right now? That was uncanny. So Adam, one of our followers from day one, Adam McNamee.
Yep.
McNamee, yeah. He actually had this exact comment, Cage. I'd say blue chip would be over 50%, and that could also encompass vintage.
Yeah, so
quote unquote.
So it's a great quote, but I mean, it doesn't have to be over 50%. It really depends. There are a lot of people who don't want any vintage, and there are a lot of people who consider blue chips like Luka. And you know what? If the kid has another great year this year, I would probably be in that camp and tell you Luka rookie cards are blue chip. He wins an MVP this year. It's one of those cards that it's going to have difficulty coming down. The blue chip stocks, are ones that are not going to fluctuate as much. That's all that really means, But there are probably people
I think by that definition, though, Cage, can we talk about that? Because
yeah, please.
I know we've mentioned blue chip quite a bit, and I don't think Luka fits the criteria of blue chip. I don't even think Giannis or LeBron fit the criteria of blue chip, because if it's really blue chip, if it's an Apple, right, that stock doesn't move that much. Like today, I don't know if you guys saw, we have a little bit of investment in vaccine stocks. That stock was up 15% today, and now it's down 8% on the day. That's a massive fluctuation.
What stock is that?
Moderna, which is actually a big company. I wouldn't say Luka, LeBron, or Giannis could be considered blue chip stocks just yet.
So it depends, right? So blue chip for a stock, right? It's just normally 3 things: nationally recognized, which whatever, for cards, a little bit different story. Well established, financially sound. So that's when you talk about companies. I think if you bring that over, it's really just, it's a reliable investment. So you're right. I mean, just taking this past year into account, somebody like almost anyone who's still playing besides LeBron, because LeBron, I mean, he fluctuated also, but Giannis's cards, I mean, what was that PSA 10? Was that running around $6,000? Right. And then it got down into
I heard some people bought it at 7,000.
So, I mean, that Giannis card, which, I mean, he's about as good as they come in current NBA, that card was $6,000 and now it's $3,500. That's on its way back up, right? So yeah, I mean, it's difficult to consider something like that with those type of movements a quote unquote blue chip. But vintage doesn't really do that. Although, I think this year is an odd year. I think you could probably find some vintage cards that did fluctuate like that. Vintage basketball, definitely. Not so much baseball because there just wasn't a huge run up and then a drop off, right? But if you stretch these things out over time, right? Giannis's card wasn't $7,000 to start the year. If you're a long-term holder of it, you're up money. If you happen to be the person who bought it in August for $6,000, you're not.
Another thing Yamwax says is add a section called personal collection. Invest a percentage in your personal collection to maintain a passion for the hobby. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, that's another way of splitting up your portfolio. I do the same thing. What I was going to say, by the way, was 50-50. 50% is modern, cards that are holding, and the other 50% are cards that I am rotating, right? So this isn't something you touched on, right? Let's call it a liquid portion of my portfolio, right? So, and what I mean by that is, anything that I'm not planning on holding forever. So that would be anything that's not part of the personal collection, the long time PC, right? And that's always changing. It's always changing, And it doesn't just change with what your thoughts are on that card or what the pricing of the card, but how that person's performing. Right now I have a Luka PSA 10 base Prism, right? That's currently in my box that I put in the 50% of modern liquid. Like, I would consider selling that card. If he goes out there and wins the MVP this year and, takes his team far in the playoffs, and I think he's going to next year be, win a championship, that card may move into the other box. That may move into okay, this is PC. I'm hanging on to this. I'm not selling this. This kid is really, really good. He's, he's one of the greatest. And that's what I keep in my PC. But it's different for everybody.
Agreed. And last thing I'll say, guys, is the one section, the cash flow section, that's how I started my my portfolio out. I didn't have the money to buy blue chip stocks. I didn't have the money to buy vintage. I had, $50 here, $50 there, $50 here, $50 there. And in the beginning, I just took advantage of, scoping out good Prism cards that were ungraded that I could grade, build out my first submission, maybe $300-$400 worth of investments. I think my first submission was 6 Zion Prism cards. Mm-hmm. That if graded 10, and I got very fortunate, but all 6 actually came back 10s. But if graded in a PSA 10, that's $3,000, right? So I was able to take a $300 investment that I spread out over 2, 3, 4 weeks, sent the PSA, and then I came back and had $3,000. Sure, it probably, if I started buying in January, that money officially cleared and hit my account in April. But hey, now you have 7, 8, 9 months for the rest of the year to make some moves. And that $3,000 is a big part of where I'm at today. And it started with just the cash flow side. And then as soon as I got more liquidity, more finances, I moved into vintage. I have a pretty sizable Kobe collection now. I moved into a little bit more growth. Here and there, I buy the aggressive growth stocks and flip them in, a month or two. But it's a good conversation. The other thing, a little nuance that people brought up that I think is
don't jump off
right.
that. Don't jump off that yet. Okay. That's important because it is you were to begin this year what many of the people who are joining our Luka Nation submissions are right now. And I don't want that missed. I don't want that glossed over. That's an important thing. Because, I just spoke to somebody this morning who's going to be subbing 50 cards, first time ever submitting cards. And they have the ability to look forward to next year buying, like you were able to buy after flipping, after doing these, building up a collection with liquidity, a LeBron Topps Chrome rookie card from 2003. You started with Zion ungraded base cards at $100, $150 each. And, that's a really cool thing about the hobby, about what we're doing now. So yeah, if you're out there, you don't have to, do this all at once, right? It's an incremental thing, right? And it takes time, and you should expect to have some fun and spend some time in the hobby. But if you do it the right way, You find the bargains, you find the good raw cards, you look at the pictures that are out there, you use the resources that are available to you, you grade the cards yourself, you're patient, you wait for the stuff to come back from PSA. You can turn those smaller cards into graded cards that are worth more money in PSA 10. Hopefully, get a little luck involved, like you got a little lucky too with all of them coming back 10s. And you're able to flip those cash flow into larger cards and continue to do it again. It's a pyramid, right?
It is. And I would say two specific things that I had before I went into it. I understood that it's going to take time. Guys, a year is not that long. It just is not that long of a period of time. And I had a goal. So I wanted that investment portfolio chart that I made yesterday for you guys to be 30,000 in assets in the next 12 months. You know, I think starting from zero, 30,000, I don't know actually when I'm interested, I'm curious. When someone would hear that, you know, is that a lot of money? Is that not a lot of money? To me, that number felt like going into 2021, I would have enough of a portfolio to do damage with. You know, starting out in January, I didn't have much, but I wanted to get to 30K by end of this year. And that was my goal. And I understand it would take the full year. And when people ask us, you know, how long does a 45-day take to get back? Or how long does it take to get a 20-day back? I understand you want to know the answer. And I was the same asking that question. But the point is you're going to get it back. And you can't think and you can't make decisions based on things that you can't control. You have to have a cash flow arm. You have to sub cards. If PSA takes 9 months, if they take 2 months, at the end of the day, you have to play the long game because those cards are going to come back. And when they do, you're going to be happy that you subbed them when you did. So I hope that helps. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to could talk about my story. I think Cage has an amazing story. So if there's any question, DM us.
Yeah, I try to. Just the only thing to layer on the subs. I try to sub every month. I try to submit cards every month. That's why I love our subs. I'll add cards into our subs. I'll do my own subs. It's crazy. But that way,
that's a big switch, by the way. People, I don't underestimate how important such a little thing like that is.
Well, because look, you can't control whether PSA is going to take 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you name it. But if you have a continuous flow of cards going into PSA to grade, then you should have a semi-regular flow of cards coming back, even if PSA is backed up. Eventually, you'll hit that 4-month mark from when you first subbed, and every month you should be getting cards back in, which is a constant flow of cash, which is key. Allows you to buy things, allows you to always have that cash flow when something comes up for sale.
I remember when I got like that first cash flow hit, because, you know, I subbed in January, but then I went heavy February, March, April, May, June. And it kind of, it's exciting. It's really exciting to start getting that first cash flow. You want to spend it really quick. You're like, oh my God, what do I buy? What do I buy?
That's right. What am I buying now? I'm in a little bit of a lull. I haven't gotten cards back from PSA in a little while. I'm hoping, you know, I check PSA every day. I'm like, come on, where's my card? Let's go. But, you know, it's taking a while. It definitely is. I'm in the same boat as a lot of you guys.
They are no longer your cards as a part of the agreement. Now, Nat Turner owns all of our cards.
He owns them all.
He has the best collection in the world. Congratulations, Nat Turner. You have won the game.
That's it. Crazy. All right, so what's your play? And by the way, guys, we are still open collecting subs. We got people this morning. So, you know, just to put the final point on this one, if you want to send us cards, you know, we are accepting them this week. Send us a note and say, hey, I'm planning on sending it to you. That way we know to be on the lookout for your cards. That's all. So, you know, and if you have questions, like I said, I spoke to someone this morning who's a first-time submitter, you know, walk through the process, tell you all the details. If you have cards, you're on the fence, send us a message. We'll walk you through the process. We'll make sure you know soup to nuts, everything that happens with the cards. And you know, we'll get you into one of the subs. And the quicker you get in, the quicker those cards will be coming back to you, and you'll be able to turn it into some even bigger cards.
Amazing. So what I'm going to talk about is that top left little pie chart is the vintage section. Okay.
Mm-hmm. My favorite.
And I'm going to help you guys create a vintage mutual fund.
Nice.
Of my one guy, Kobe Bryant. Okay. And here's the thing with Kobe. You guys know I love Kobe. So I've watched his market for a long time. I think, and this is from conversations, this is from what I'm seeing, more and more people are moving their money into Kobe cards. The issue with Kobe cards is the quantity of his cards. He has so many different cards. And right now I'm going to talk to you about creating a mutual fund of his rookie cards. His rookie cards include the Topps Paper, Topps Chrome, Fleer Ultra, Fleer Metal. And this is where it gets a little bit wonky, but the Hoops card and the Topps Finest. and I could repeat those if you want, Cage. So there's the Topps. Is it Topps Finest? It's Topps Finest, Fleer Ultra, Topps Cardboard, Topps Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
Which one am I missing here? The NBA Hoops is like the
But
gold one.
Your Fleer Ultra is one of the ones you like. There's a bunch. There's regular hoops. I mean, there's a ton of Kobe rookie cards.
So what I would
metal.
Metal. That was the other one. Huh. So what's interesting about those cards is they move on their own program. Like, for example, the Topps paper card was $1,000 card at the beginning of this year, probably even less. But it's been at $1,000 for a majority of this year. Shot up to 5,000. But the Fleer Metal, which is actually a lower pop card than the Topps, has stayed at $1,000. The Topps Finest is less than $100. It is less than $1,000. This is all in PSA 10s. The Fleer Ultra went from 1,000 to 2,000. So for me, it was really, really hard to gauge which Kobe cards to buy, which rookie cards to buy. So here I'm sitting and I'm looking at the PSA 9s of all of these cards. And they're at 150. Bowman is another rookie card of Kobe. And why I say this is I think a cool strategy, and like a financial advisor and like a BlackRock, I think would do this for you. They would package all of these cards together and then just sell you the bundle, right? That's what a mutual fund is.
Yep.
I think it's worthwhile to in the next 4-6 weeks to start buying these in the PSA 9 form and just having it as kind of, you look at it as like one investment into Kobe rookie cards. Because I don't want to sit here and tell you that I think the PSA 9 is going to go up more than the PSA 9 Topps is going to go up more than the PSA 9 Fleer, or the PSA 9 Fleer is going to go up more than Topps. Because if the Topps is sitting at 400 and it goes to 600 versus the Fleer Metal is sitting at 170 and that goes to 340, well, actually the Fleer went up more than the Topps. But it's hard to know. So I think it's really worthwhile to buy actually one of each and put them into a mutual fund. Buy two of each. And I think staying with the PSA 9s is a great move if you can afford the PSA 10, no doubt. But a PSA 9 is a really low entry point to create a mutual fund for Kobe, where realistically you could create a PSA 9 mutual fund of Kobe's rookie cards for about $1,000 and hit the 5 big ones.
So you want to just do the 5, right? So those 5 that are there, okay. You don't want to
the main ones
down to other ones. Yep, go ahead.
Well, the main ones are Fleer Metal, which is a really hard grade.
Yes. Yeah. Foil.
The Topps paper, very high pop though, which that does scare me, but that's like the main one. Mm-hmm. The Fleer Ultra. There's the Topps. Why do I keep thinking it's the Topps Finest? But I don't. It is Topps
Finest. There's Topps Finest. Yeah, that's the bronze colored border one. The Topps Finest. Card number 74, the one that says Apprentices on the side of it.
Yep. And honestly, that one, if you can, it's only $800-900 for the PSA 10, and I think that's a really, really cheap PSA 10 of his card. And I like that card a lot.
You don't know my favorite one of him is, especially with recent events, the EX 2000, the 1999, 96, 97 EX 2000 Kobe Bryant. It's card number 30. It's the one with the green border, but it's got the clouds in the background. You've seen this card, right? The EX 2000.
Yeah, and I bought it. I got an 8 on it. It's a really hard card to grade.
I mean, it's really very difficult. It's like acetate and etched foil and all kinds of stuff. And who knows why they put clouds in a basketball card? But doesn't it ring a little true now with with what happened with Kobe? I've seen a lot of paintings of him, with like an angel halo and whatnot. You might as well have him up there, with a picture in the clouds. Do you like the Flair Showcase one?
I love them.
Okay, so that's a nice one also.
I love the Flair Showcase.
Card number 31.
Row 0, row 1, row 2.
Yep, row 2 is the most common one. That's the one I would tell you guys to go after. There's Bowman's Best. Card number R23. That's the one, it's a very foil one. There's maybe a little greening. There's
not a lot of PSA 10s on that one. Really tough grade as well.
How about the SP, the one that says Prospect on the Premier Prospects in blue on the left side with him
love
with the basketball?
That card. I love the SP.
So but that's SP rookie number 134.
SP rookie 134. I don't think that's him wearing his that one. I don't like
not the glasses, not the one with the glasses. The glasses is a different one. The glasses is his upper deck number 58, the one with the glasses on his head.
I mostly have stayed with the Topps paper, the
Yep.
Fleer, Ultra Fleer metal, the
Mm-hmm.
Topps finest with the apprentices down the side, and the Bowmans have been like the
Okay.
main. The gold is a really cool one.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA Hoops gold one. I've really
Yep.
liked that card. My point, though, is because he has so many, I don't doubt that there's going to be appreciation. It's just really difficult to know which cards will appreciate. So if you're thinking, and this is
I like
completely
this, by the
separate
way.
from investing from an auto. I still think an auto is a good play. I still think like the X2000 is a good play, but those are expensive cards. Those are not easy cards to get. I still think those are plays. But something very practical is to create your own mutual fund over the next 4 or 5 weeks where you have, maybe 2 of each of the 5 that I mentioned, and that's going to cost you less than $2,000.
I like this. By the way, autos, I had my eye on an auto that was ending last night of Kobe. It was out of 25 on card auto, and it ended at over $15,000. I'm like, okay, I'm not buying that. Like, it jumped up crazy at the end. So obviously a lot of people looking at Kobe autos. It's a really cool one.
A lot of people are looking at Kobe.
I guess it's like a flawless on card out of 25, but I think it was called Now and Then. And why I liked it was not just a really vibrant blue Kobe auto, but it had the Now and Then where was him and his different jersey numbers. So it was like a young Kobe wearing number 8 and an older Kobe wearing number 24 on the same card and the autograph in between them. Really cool looking card. It was on PWCC. It ended last, like I said, it ended over $15,000. So, I mean, a little too rich for my blood. But, I mean, just a really cool looking card. You want to know why I like this strategy you're throwing out there? It actually dovetails with my pick. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about, why I like this is people know what the top card is of a player, right? You can tell Kobe's got that Topps chrome, the Topps paper, you name it, like that. That's what people are going after, right? For whatever reason. And you touched on it yourself. I mean, it was a card that was $1,000 and went up to $5,000. You can tell which one has flown. I'm going to tell you what my pick on for Luka is after this, right? More of your modern segment, but not his Prism card. Everybody knows his Prism card's going up. But, I'm going to dovetail on my own play from yesterday with Trey and give you the same card now for Luka. And I'm going to have you guess what the pop is, and you're going to get it wrong. But the thing is, my play is a bet on, I think people are not going to buy the Prism, and they might not go all the way down to the Hoops or the Dunris. But the Select rookie card is a really nice card. But I'm making a play on which one it is that's going to be the one that people go after. It's not going to be the Optic. It's not going to be this. I'm betting on Select. You know what you're doing with your Kobe mutual fund is you're making a basket to make sure that you catch whatever the number 2 card is going to be. We don't know what the number 2 card is going to be right now over time. But
that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
You're making sure that you're giving your folks whatever one it is, you're going to have it. And that's what mutual fund people do, right? It takes some of the risk out of it.
And in my experience, and I could be completely wrong, sometimes the number 2 card is such a lagging measure that it actually goes up more than the number 1.
In percentage, it usually does.
Yeah, in percentage, exactly.
Yep. So,
and I'll tell you guys, my dream, and I'll let you Cage go after this, is a on-card Kobe auto with an 8 out of 24.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool, right?
That would be pretty cool. I told you I was looking at a card the other day. It was a Luka card that sold way too much money in auto. It was number 10 out of 14. That's my birthday, 10-14. So I was like, oh, that's cool, 10-14. So let me get that one, and then somebody bought it. So we talked yesterday about the Trey and how the Trey Prism rookie card, there's 10,000 of them. We know there are over 10,000 PSA 10 Luka Prism base rookie cards. Card number 122, 2018 Select rookie of him. You know how many there are? PSA 10.
I'm actually assuming less than Trey. And Trey, you said yesterday was like 170, 270 or something.
419 of these. 419 total. So less than 5% of the amount of Prism base 10s for the Select card number 122. So you're talking about a card that does not have significant population, especially given, the card we're talking about here. And here's the best part. The Luka Prism is, it's trading around $2,000, $1,700, $1,600, you name it. I saw this card sell on Friday of last week for $820. Best offer accepted. To me, that's a value. I see,
it's a great entry point
middle of November,
as well.
$850. Yeah, I mean, and that's for PSA 10, right? It's clear there are several of them under $1,000. There's a bunch with best offer. You can make the offer on them. But yeah, I mean, you're getting a Luka premium brand rookie card for the same thing that I mentioned yesterday with Trey. You know, people might not be looking to enter at the price that they are there. And we talked about courtside, right, as a potential like investment card that's rivaling the silvers for Prism. I think that that's going to bring more attention to the Select brand, to the Select photography. And it's just like the Trey yesterday is a different picture. So is this one. You know, it's him dribbling the ball, looked like he's driving down the lane. I like Select. I think, you know, Select is a cool product, and I think it's going to eventually start to get its due. There are people out there who like Optic. The base Optic card with the white border is a little bland for me. The Optic Hollows are gorgeous. They're tough grades. They're gorgeous cards. The Hollows are great. I'm not such a fan of like the lime greens and the pinks and stuff like that. You know, leave a little to be desired. The Optic Hollow is a cool card. But what Select brings to the table that Optic doesn't is I think the base cards are shiny and awesome looking. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a silver or a blue or a tie-dye or whatever it is. They have all of those too, but the base card enough brings more to it, to me, than an Optic base card does. So, you know, it would be great for me to tell you to go out there and buy a Luka PSA 10 mutual fund, the basket of all of his PSA 10s, because, you know, we don't know which one's going to go up. Probably all of them go up. If I were right now looking to deploy $850 into Luka, I would be looking at this card. So there's my pick for you. I'm heavy Select this week. Well, guys, listen, that's the play. That's the play on Luka. I have to tell you, I like the Tatum play yesterday, and I like the idea of, you know, a tranche of Kobe cards. I do not have a huge Kobe card in my collection. I do have like a 2012 Prism card. I'm looking for an auto. I don't have rookie cards of his. It's just one of those cards that I always said, oh, I'll get him. There's plenty of them. I'll grab. And I didn't. And guys, if you listen to the end here, let me just throw one out there for you. Be careful with pricing. Be careful with the pricing that you see on auctions and on eBay. All right. There's a lot of craziness that goes on in the auction world. There's a lot of craziness that goes on eBay. I'm just going to throw this out there as a little tidbit for you. I watch a lot of cards. There's a card I want to own in my collection one day, right? It is the LeBron James rookie Chrome 2003 in refractor. It's a card I want. Okay. Beast of a card. Right. And I was looking at it a couple months ago, and it was, you know, a $50,000, $55,000, $60,000 card. There were people who had a bunch of 9.5s. Oh, my 9.5 is a $40,000 card. I'm going to buy a house with this 9.5. I'm not a 9.5 guy, but I like the PSA 10, 50 and change. So let me just throw one out there for you guys. I want you to actually look this up. This is like a little Cage lesson. Sorry, Andrew. You probably thought we were going to be ending, but here's a little Cage fun lesson for you.
I've been watching this exact auction, so I'm excited for the punchline here as well. So
you know which one I'm talking about, I guess. So I was watching to see what this ended at, this LeBron James Chrome Refractor PSA 10 in PWCC ended last night, right? And it ended for $106,760. All right? Now, I would bet dollars to donuts that this card does not get paid for. PWCC has private listings. They try to, vet out who was able to bid on these cards, you name it. And if you look at the bids at the end, it's very possible that there are just a lot of people who came into this listing and decided they were going to bid. But in the last couple of minutes, this card went from 65,000 to 106,000. There were two bidders who came in at the very end, and it was sitting with like a couple minutes left at 65.1, 65.2, and then three people have bids of $105,000 to $106,000 that bumped this up. That 65 number is a little more palatable, and here's why. This card is a relist for PWCC. It sold in their auction last month and was not paid for. Same exact card. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at CERT 271-56887. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go on eBay and type in LeBron Refractor PSA 10 and sort by highest price. And you will see that on, let's see what day it is, 10/29/20, PWCC sold the exact same card. So the last auction they had. So this is November 30th. 1 month before, it was PWCC's 10/29 auction. The same exact card with the same exact cert, 271-56887, sold for $53,300. So What does this tell me? Especially if I look at all of the other ones that were selling in September and November for anywhere between $52,000 and $63,000. What it tells me, and by the way, that same card, same exact card, PWCC, if you want to get crazy, sold in their September auction, 271,56887. Same exact card sold on September 30th for 63.4. So the last completed auctions of this card, the one that now everybody is going to probably argue, you're going to see it on Twitter and on Instagram. LeBron James card sets new record, sells for $106,000. Be mindful of that. Realize that the same card has now sold 3 separate times, 1 month apart, on September 30th, on October 29th, and on November 30th. Same card, same cert. None of those times has it been paid for. You have to watch out for these type of things, not just with a card like this, but with any card, right? There are people out there who are trying to set comps. There are people out there who manipulate the pricing. I'd love PWCC to figure out a way to fix this. Obviously, I feel bad for whoever it is who owns this card, who now has listed it for a quarter. It's been up for 3 straight months, and it's probably not being paid for any time, which is sad. But it's just one of those things, guys. At first blush, you could see a Twitter post that says, "Oh, look at this LeBron card sold for 106." You go into completed auctions, you see it, and there it is, sold for 106. It sold for 63 and it sold for 54, and neither of those times was it actually paid for. It's not going to get paid for at 106. Weird, but it's just part of our hobby.
I got to be honest. It was. It's interesting. Like when we did the PWCC and just the conversations we have offline, like this kind of triggers some people. Yes, but to me, it is what it is. Like every hobby, every industry, every business, it has its own pluses and minuses, right? Like this just comes with the territory. And I think if you're educated and you know what to look out for, you're going to avoid these traps. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest.
This, to me, it doesn't trigger me. It doesn't get me angry. What it is there are people who are listening to this who are thinking about spending money on a card. And maybe it's $1,000 card, maybe it's a $2,000 card, you name it. One of the things that's become huge in our hobby is last comp. I'm selling this for $2,600. Last sale was $3,300. Was it though? So just be mindful of that, guys, when you're navigating the hobby that's out there. It's not that difficult. I've never done this, but if I were to say, hey, I want trade cards to go to $3,500 for his silver or $4,000, I could tell my neighbor, I'm going to list the trade card for $4,000. Click buy it now on eBay. Don't worry, you never have to pay. I mean, there is that kind of crap going on eBay every day. So if before you're buying a card, check multiple comps. Check that 130 point. We've talked about this, but we haven't brought it up in a while. That shows what actual like best offer prices and what these things sell for. And if it's PWCC, wait a couple weeks, and you'll see whether or not the card is actually sold. They have their auction archives, and they'll actually tell you whether the card was paid for. It's just one of these. It's just one of those little tidbits that we throw out there. It's part of our hobby. It shouldn't make you mad or anything like that. It's just something it's one to grow on. The more you know, the more you know. But yeah, that's it.
Luka Nation, we've been getting a ton of DMs from you guys. We appreciate it. We work around the clock. We really do, to try to answer every single one of those DMs. So just keep that in mind when you guys send us message. Never worry about following up with us, asking us more questions. We love hearing from you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Luka's, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.